Hi, I'm Paul Friedman, founder of the Marriage Foundation, and today you're going to get some marriage communication counseling. So I'm going to hit some topics kind of broadly. Number one, communication. Let's dispel one myth right away. And that myth is that it's okay to fight and argue as long as it doesn't get out of hand. So here's the truth about that. You didn't get married to fight and argue. You got married for the sole purpose of being happier. Well, does it make you happy? No, it doesn't. It cannot. And so think about fighting and arguments as impediments to your goal of marriage. Your goal of marriage is happiness. It's sort of the vision of your marriage is to live in a bubble of happiness, of love. In fact, I call marriage your sacred space of marriage. It's where the two of you exist, just the two of you. It's so beautiful if you think about it. The problem is that you're soulmates, but when you're arguing, when you're fighting, you're acting more like cellmates. It's like a prison. So understand this. Arguing and fighting are detrimental to your marriage as a whole. They're detrimental to you individually. They're detrimental to your spouse and to your children. There is no redeeming, positive anything that comes out of arguments. Well, what do I do? That's the question I get. Most people are just unfamiliar with the idea of never arguing. They think, well, what do we talk about then? I've heard unbelievable responses from couples and individuals who have come to see me, and when I share this truth with them, because what I'm sharing with you is a truth, it's like too far out of the realm of possibilities. So let's talk about it. What do you replace it with? Because this is all about communication, isn't it? You replace it with loving communication, which contributes to the happiness within your marriage. Easy to say, right? Well, what if? Well, I'm laughing because I came up with this thing. I never got one if at a time in my counseling sessions. So I designated them the what if birds, and I would see them coming in as a flock. And I would tell my clients, no, we're not going there. We're not going to do what ifs. We're going to rather deal with how. So the reality is, and please accept this, the purpose of your marriage is to be happy. And how do you become happy? Not from material stuff, not even from getting along, not from being flattered or complimented. You're happy from one thing universally that never fails. That one thing is unconditional love. So think of it this way. You're a soul. You're a soul. And then you come into the world and you have a body and you have a mind, but you're the soul. Unfortunately, we don't recall our soul qualities because the mind is taking orders from the body, and it's an animal body. And the animal body is telling you to do one thing, survive. And so there's this constant struggle, this battle between the soul and the mind-afflicted body. No, it's the other way around. The body-afflicted mind. Your job in your marriage is to contain anything that is negative and get to the root of the trigger. Get to the trigger, because there's probably not a good reason for you to be angry anyway, and convert it right then and there to something positive. So, tip number one in your marriage communication counseling, and this is more than a tip. This is how you should live. You have a rule for yourself, not for your spouse because you don't control them, but you have a rule for yourself that you do not expose any anger that may come into your heart and mind. You don't expose it to your partner, to your spouse. You just don't. It's got to be a hard and fast rule. Now, in many quarters of the psychological community, they still talk about venting as being positive, but it isn't. It simply isn't. And I'm going to explain it to you simply so we don't take too much time. When you vent, one of your strongest material senses is your ears. You hear. And so what happens is you're hearing yourself complain. You're hearing yourself gripe. And it's registering in your mind. And then it's creating a deeper groove in your mind we call a habit. And it makes you even more upset. And then you vent even more. And typically your spouse will react. Remember, they're also driven by the drive to survive. And then you react, and pretty soon you're in this major fight. And you call me up, or you call up a therapist and you say, we don't communicate well. Well, this is the first place to pay attention to your communication. You do not react. So don't be the one who starts a fight, but if you are, because something's bothering you, stop as soon as you can. Just stop. Apologize. It's not that big a deal. And then cool down. Go off. Now, a lot of people get caught. That's rule number one, okay? That's tip number one, is do not contribute negativity into your marriage. Simply don't do it. Double yellow line. 4 yellow lines. 8 yellow lines. Don't cross it. Do not add negativity. Well, what if I'm attacked? There's the what if. Then you listen patiently. You look within and you see if there is an element of truth. And if there is, you acknowledge. You're acknowledging to your spouse, so it's okay. And you say, I can hear what you're saying is probably got some truth to it, and I'm going to work on changing it. And your mind may be boiling over with the temptation to react. Don't. Go back to rule number one. Rule number one, do not dump negativity into your marriage. Okay? Now, a lot of people have another problem. And that problem is they think, and this is almost universal. I've talked to many people, and everyone thinks when you're spoken to, it's an obligation to immediately respond. It's not. It's not. In fact, most people, when they're speaking to you, they're really speaking at you, including your spouse. They're just wanting to get something out. Or it may be more innocent. Maybe they have a question, and you may not know the answer. Or you may think you know the answer, but because of this almost universal habit of instantaneously responding to somebody's communication, we come up with something that's inappropriate. In fact, usually it's inappropriate. So, here's a little thing that you should use. Let me think about that. When you hear something, it could be a criticism, it could be a question, it could be something is pointed out to you. You just say, let me think about it. All right? Now I've given you 2 real high level rules that if you live by these 2 rules alone, it will completely change the dynamic of your marriage. Now, what you should do with that after you do these things, because certainly you're asking, well, what do I do with my tension? What do I do with this problem that I come to him or her with? What do I do? What do I do? You're not going to get this in tips in a video. Get one of my books, either Breaking the Cycle or Lessons for a Happy Marriage. They're not expensive. Check out the reviews. They're well received, but I'm not trying to sell you a book. I'm trying to help your marriage be amazing. So here's a secret about marriage. It shouldn't be a secret. It's actually a truth. And I want you to really digest this, because this is really important. People don't understand that when you get married to be happier, that happiness should be ever expanding. The love you generate through use of your mind and your body, that love that you generate has no limit when you know how to do it. And it's pretty amazing. Marriage is like, it's amazing. Everyone gets married pretty much, and hardly anyone understands that marital bliss is a very real thing. And I'm going to give you tools in all these videos that you can use, and you can learn how to do this and learn how to do that, but try to learn the whole deal about marriage, because it's phenomenal. It's just, it's the highest spiritual path in the world. It is. It's equivalent to what the great saints do in a different venue, but it's an amazing venue. And when I say it's a spiritual path, what I'm talking about is it taps into the soul, where all the joy, all the love, all the happiness exists. It's right at your fingertips. You're living in a marriage. You should be gaining from it like crazy. You should be floating in the joy of your marriage. Okay, so go float, go enjoy, and if you like the video, share it, like it. If you have a comment, let me know. We'll communicate. Blessings to you, blessings to your spouse, blessings to your family. Take care.